Hey all, Exidian here. This is the 5.0 version of my moving item filter. Moving item filters, not to be mistaken with item sorters, which you'll find plenty of other people doing tutorials on, take items from their input and sort them between filtered and non-filtered items. As you can see here, this chest filters up to 18 different items, and this filter operates on 18-second cycles. So that means up to 18 different stacks of items can be sorted every 18 seconds, or one stack every second. What you'll see here is that the items that did not match the filter will go to the right side, and items that do match the filter, that being blocks of various kinds, will go out to the left side. Shoutout goes out to GH, Mutouniki, and iDoodler for help with this design. One last thing before we begin. Please check the description for any corrections. I cannot change a YouTube video once I make it, so I will put any corrections, mistakes, and answers to frequently asked questions in the description below. That said, we will start with a tutorial on how to build this design, and then after that I will go into an more in-depth explanation on how this moving item filter and moving item filters in general work. So with that, let's get into it. The clock is the largest part of the build, but you can build it once, and its outputs can go to all of your filters. The clock emits a 1-tick pulse every 3 ticks to 3 different sections, each section 1 at a time, and each section being on for 6 seconds before it ends up looping back to the original. This allows for 18 items to move over the course of 18 seconds. Now, if you want to skip the tutorial for building the clock, you can get a screenshot right here. Alright, let's get started. For the clock, here's what we will need. 2 electricity generators, 1 electricity stick, 10 logic circuits, 26 delay circuits, 15 wires, 16 cross circuits, 2 levers, optionally 16 glass floors or some other floor to cover the cross circuits, and I recommend a wooden hoe for debugging. To begin, find yourself a 9 by 12 area. That's 9 tiles tall, 12 tiles wide for your clock. I've marked one off here, but keep in mind that your filter, which goes above the clock, will need an additional 5 tiles, so it should actually be 14 by 12. Let's start by making the 3-tick clock. 2 tiles in from the left and 3 tiles in from the top. Place your first logic circuit pointing upwards. Above that, a logic circuit pointing rightwards. To the left of that, an electricity stick, and below that electricity stick, a cross circuit pressing E on it twice. Below that cross circuit, place a delay circuit pointing upwards, and to the right of that, a lever. Finally, connect up the 2 logic circuits with 2 wire. Turning on the lever, you should see that it cycles like a clock. Keep in mind that the rate you see is due to a visual bug. In reality, this is happening much faster, 6, almost 7 times per second. Turn the clock off, and let's continue with the next section. We need to create a space for a 6-second pulse input, so let's put a delay circuit below our lever pointing rightwards. To the right of that, a wire. To the right of that, a logic circuit pointing right. And above that, a generator, like so. Turning on the lever, you should see that the logic circuit turns on. Turn the lever back off. Now we need to cut it off at 6 seconds. To do that, make a 3 tall, 2 wide U shape of delay circuits going down, down, right, up, 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 coming from the wire pointing into your logic circuit. You should see that the logic circuit is now only on for 6 seconds at a time. Making sure it's off, we'll need to repeat this for 3 sections. So, leaving a 1 block gap between the last delay circuit and this one, repeat the same design, down, down, right, up, 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 twice, leaving no gap between the second and your third design, like so. Now for the 4th section, or the 3rd actual section, we're going down, 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 and then we're splitting it in half and going up, up, up in that little crevice you left. Now we need to connect all these sections up together. So, above each spot where there's an exposed downward facing delay circuit, place a wire. Between the 1st and 2nd, and then between the 2nd and 3rd wires, we're going to put a cross circuit that you press E on twice. To continue the cycle down from the bottom, at the bottom right corner, of your build so far, not the area, put down a logic circuit facing left, and to the right of that, put a lever and turn it on. Then place down 4 cross circuits to the left, and then a wire to the left of the cross circuits. And finally, to connect the loop, place a logic circuit pointing right in that little nook, and then a cross circuit pointing into that logic circuit so it gets power. Now when you turn on the lever, you should see 3 distinct sections, looking at the top wires here, that are on for 6 seconds each, and then it loops around after the full 18 seconds back to the beginning. We can leave that on as we design the rest of the clock. So now we need to connect up our 3-tick clock to this part. So, 3 tiles above each of those 3 wires, 1 for each section, we'll place a logic circuit facing upwards. Below each of those logic circuits, we'll place a cross circuit. Do not press E on these cross circuits, they just stay as is. We'll refer to these as the left, middle, and right section. On the left section, put a cross circuit connecting your wire to your section. On the middle section, connect them with a wire. And on the right section, connect them with a logic circuit pointing upwards with a generator to feed it power. Now we have to connect the 3-tick clock to the rest of it. So let's extend that signal by putting a rightwards facing logic circuit above the leftmost generator. To the right of that, put a wire. In the next space to the right of that, put a wire, and then a wire above it. In the next space to the right of the wire, put another wire, and a cross circuit above that. The cross circuit should point right, so press E on it twice. Finally, let's finish our outputs. We'll put a wire above the left section, above the middle section, and on the far top right corner of our build. Then place 3 cross circuits connecting them. So now the middle section should actually become the rightmost output. You should see them ticking on and off, going left output, right output, middle output, each on for 6 seconds, and this should cycle every 18 seconds. These filters are stackable and fully extendable with the generators that are built into them, meaning you can have as many as you want. They're split up into 3 lines, which are extensions of the clock outputs that we made. The leftmost line goes first, and it pulls items out of the input chest. The rightmost line goes second, and it puts items back into the input chest. And the middle line goes third, and puts input items into the input chest. So with that said, let's get right into building it. Next up is the filter itself. Compared to the clock, the circuitry and setup for the filter is a lot simpler. For the filter, we will need 2 crude drills, 5 robot arms, 1 pedestal, 3 chests, single tile chests, 2 electricity generators, 3 logic circuits, 8 electrical wires, and 6 cross circuits, as well as optionally 6 glass floors to cover the cross circuits. And if we want to extend this to another filter, that we stack on top, we'll need 5 conveyor belts to do so. It should also be noted, by the way, that instead of the 2 crude drills, we can have 2 normal drills. They do look cooler after all. And instead of 1 pedestal and 3 chests, we can use 2 pedestals and 2 chests. Later on, I'll show you the slightly different design to do so. So let's build our filter. I'll split it up into 3 paths, but start by creating or making sure you have a 7 by 5 area on the right side of your clock above it. So we'll do the 3 paths, starting with the left. We're going to put down a generator, a cross circuit on the above the left part, then put down a generator to the right of that. Above that, we're going to put a logic circuit facing upwards. To the left of that, we're going to place down a wire. Above the logic circuit, we're going to put down a cross circuit. Then 1 tile to the left and 1 tile up from that, we're going to put a cross circuit down and press E on it once. And then above that, we're going to put a wire. Now for the second path, that is the path that is above the third logic circuit, we're going to put a logic circuit down. To the right of that, we're going to put a generator. Above that, we're going to put down a wire. 2 tiles above that, we're going to put, going upwards, 2 cross circuits. To the right of that, for the third path, we're going to put down a logic circuit, pointing upwards, followed by 4 wires, followed by a cross circuit to the left of the top wire. And lastly, a wire will go on the spot where the top right chest will go. Here's the wiring diagram. Now we do have a legend here. So arrow signs indicate direction, normal signs are drills, the red signs are arms, and then the blocks themselves are where the pedestals and chests go. So the chests go on the top right 3, and the pedestal goes on the bottom left 1. Like so. So next, let's put down the arms. We'll break these signs real quick. So the robot arms, once again, the bottom robot, well, close to the bottom robot arm faces right, then down, then left, then up, and the input robot arm, the actual bottommost one, faces down. Lastly, let's put the drills. The left drill faces right into the pedestal, and the right drill faces left into the input chest. Okay, next we need to actually put our filter items in. So you will need 1 of each item you want to filter, and any additional space in the chest must be filled with a non-stackable item. I recommend wooden shovels because they're cheap and easy to make. So wait until the leftmost path is off before you put your items in. So as you can see here, the leftmost path just turned on, so we're going to wait until it turns off. And then the moment it turns off, we'll put in our items. Alternatively, if you don't want to time it, you can just turn your clock off entirely and then turn it back on. You should see your filter items and any filler shovels or whatever empty out of the chest. And then once the chest is empty, you should see them come back into the chest. If you see that, then your filter is working correctly. So first, let's set up the belt to connect it to another filter. So from the right drill, go up, then left, then up, then up, then left. So here we have a bunch of items to test with. So if we quickly take our conveyor belts to set up a line leading to our filter. Then we can turn on our robot arm to empty out our testing chest. We should see that all those seeds at the beginning should end up on the left side, and everything else should end up on the right side. As we can see, well, some of the seeds came through. Let's wait for the others to get picked up. There we go. That's the rest of the seeds that came through. So we'll put them back in our testing chest. You can see that they match up with the filtered seeds. And all the other items ended up top here, where they would get picked up by another item filter. Speaking of which, let's just once again really quickly make that second item filter. Now with this one we're going to use, once again as mentioned, normal drills, 2 pedestals and 2 chests instead of crude drills, 1 pedestal and 3 chests. So the main difference is where the pedestals go. So the 1 pedestal on the top right replaces the chest on the top right. So once again, let's build up our path just like we did with the first filter. Okay, that's the left path done. And now it's not necessary, but I'll break these belts so you can better see the path we're extending from. So doing the middle path and the right path at the same time here, just to save us on some time. Okay. Now let's rebuild that belt really quick and put in our drills and arms, as well as our chests and pedestals. So once again, chests are on the bottom right and top left, pedestals are on the bottom left and top right. The arms face clockwise, and the input arm faces down. Put our right drill facing left and our left drill facing right, and then let's just, for completeness sake, round out the belts to extend it one further if we need it. Now here I'm choosing to do all ores for my filter items, and then a bunch of random junk that I happen to have lying around that are all non-stackable gear from mob drops and whatnot. So once again, making sure that the left one is on, the moment the left lane turns off, we fill up our chest. And then let's send out our input. Now, while the input is going, I think I'll talk briefly about the way that these item filters work. So, the first cycle, the left lane, when it turns on, it takes any items in the chest, puts them onto a pedestal where most of any stack drops to the ground, but 1 item from each stack stays on the pedestal, and then it gets carried up to the top left corner. The second lane, which is the right lane, then carries them from the top left corner and puts them back into the input chest. And then the third lane, the middle lane, activates the input itself, which puts new items into the chest now that it's once again full. But yeah, that's the moving item filter, 5.0. Hopefully the last version for a while, unless Corekeeper breaks it again. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, or you can reach out to me as Exidian in the Corekeeper Discord. Thanks for watching.